Breaking news. It's happening right now. Amazon is just threw their bid in to buy TikTok. Signal chat debacle. Torpedo bats. Let's jump into the news for this week. Yes, so as you just heard, Amazon has put in a last-minute bid to buy TikTok.
Wow.
April 5th is the deadline for the final sale of TikTok to an American company, American buyer, before it gets discontinued and barred from being here in the United States. So Amazon just threw in their bid, so who knows? We'll see how that goes. Jeff Goldberg, chief editor for The Atlantic, was added to a Signal chat where he was in the middle of some interesting information that was shared with him. So Pete Hegseth had shared some information where they were going to have a military operation against the Houthi militants in Yemen.
Pirates.
I don't believe that a chief editor is supposed to be in a Signal chat like that. So that in lies the debacle. Unfortunately, there has been quite a few discrepancies from both sides, or arguments from both sides of the party lines. The Republicans are saying there was no information, specific information from the military operation that was shared, no timelines, nothing that would have...
No war plans.
No war plans were discussed, yeah, even though it's this day and that time things were going to happen. So I'm a little confused by that statement. Though I do have to say the Pentagon did come out and say that some of the all of the information in the conversation that Jeff Goldberg was involved in, that he saw, did not contain classified information that he shouldn't have. So it's a debacle. It's a black eye on definitely the military and the national security side of the United States. A big mistake that should not be repeated. Trump's reciprocal tariffs go into effect today, gentlemen. Instead of, which has come and gone, various tariff tactics, I guess you could say, that Trump has proposed, where it's going to be matching. If one country's putting an 80% tariff, the United States is going to match it. Now what Donald Trump has proposed is a 20% tariff on all goods, no matter where the country is, or where the product is coming from, just a flat rate, 20%
So it's
tariff.
Today, Wednesday.
Today, Wednesday,
The 2nd.
April
2nd.
April 2nd, that these tariffs are going to go into effect.
Liberation Day.
Liberation Day, yes. So Liberation Day and Make America Wealthy Again was Trump's slogan for his press conference that he discussed all of this. Moving on to some Texas news. Senate Bill 22, and I know I broke this story a couple weeks ago. The Texas Moving Image Industry Incentive, which I think is the worst name you could ever come up with, which is a fund. It was passed yesterday. This will deposit $500 million every 2 years, so $250 million a year, into a fund until 2035 to lure movie, commercial, and other entertainment businesses away from Hollywood and start making Texas an incentive for the industry to come out here. $7.5 million, gentlemen. $7.5 million. Lottery ticket was just sold and won at the Round Rock Paloma Lake Market, right down the street, walking distance from my house. Son of a bitch. I wish I was the one that bought that lottery ticket. It's the Texaco station off the CR 110. Congratulations to that winner. You're $7.5 million richer. If you're my neighbor, I would like just a little bit of that, please. Thank you. Bastrop. Ladies and gentlemen, Bastrop. I don't know if any of you have been into the Bastrop area. Growing. A new development company says they are going to build a $300 million new multifunctional, multi-purpose shopping center in the Bastrop area. That whole area is just unrecognizable from the past couple of years that I've been. I don't know if anybody's been out there recently, but Bastrop is exploding. Investment opportunities for anyone. I believe that would be a good area to start looking into. And then lastly, and this kind of goes into Texas and sports, MotoGP was this last Sunday at Circus of the Americas. I was not able to attend. I did watch the highlights of it and talk about a fantastic race. There was a rain delay. The lead, the lead for the MotoGP rally, he crashed and was placed into third, and his brother actually won the race. Ducati has just been taking over MotoGP. They're just the number one team, first through fifth. If you have a Ducati, you're winning everything right now. So Ducati teams are strong. Ducati's just making a strong bike. But Circus of America, the MotoGP was this last weekend, and it was a lot of fun. Moving into sports, man, I don't think I've had this much excitement into baseball for a very long time. If you're a Yankees fan, I know you're excited. If you're not, then you probably hate the Yankees like 99% of the rest of the United States. Torpedo bats. They came out the opening 2 games and won 14-3, and then the second game was, I believe, 11-3. There is a controversy going around with the torpedo bats, where the concentration of the wood is whittled into the middle, where the ball will be trajected and shot out to home runs. In fact, there was back-to-back home runs.
Yes.
Incredible. That's never happened. I will have to say that there are 2 undefeated baseball teams left. The 6-0 San Diego Padres and the 7-0 Dodgers, but we don't care about them. And then lastly, Nikola Jokic, 61 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. He is just a monster, a European monster, a man playing with boys. It is ridiculous. But that's everything for Conrad's news segment. Gentlemen, let's talk. Anything pique your interest?
So much there.
Okay.
Political-wise, the state of Texas, sports.
All right. I'll jump in real quick as the guest. So, if you're caught doing something, and the person who calls you out is a reporter, you should not go and deny everything, because there's a pretty good chance the reporter has all of it.
Right.
And so as soon as they kind of kept saying, no, nothing was done, I was like, oh, babe, watch. The reporter's going to go, okay, I told you I wasn't going to talk about it, but now I got to show y'all. And I was like, wait till he publishes it, because he's a reporter. He's going to record it all.
That's
he reported
he
it.
does.
Yeah.
He's a reporter.
That's literally what a reporter does.
What you expect.
Yeah. Don't fight the reporter right up front. Like say, let me get back to you on that, because that's just not a smart play. For whether you're blue or red, it's not a smart play.
Right. And it's unfortunate too. I really liked Pete Hegseth before. I liked a lot of his I liked a lot of his, and I'm a Marine, so a lot of the things that he was saying to get back into military readiness, I was like, yes, I could see how the military went away from a lot of those tactics. But it's a bonehead move like this, man. It's just like, God, it's so sad to see. And then to, like you said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. No, that never happened. And then it's like, here's.
Well, and he didn't do it like that. He was like pretty strong about it.
Joe Stewart showed one video after the other, like 3-4 days in a row. Like he's like, no, there's nothing there. And the second day, there might be something there. And then it's we know there's like he was weighing down, you know. Even his clothes, like he was. Of course, it's Joe Stewart, right? So it's a show. It's not politics. It's just a show.
Yeah.
You know, it's entertainment. but you can see like the clothes. He's like, oh, look at the clothes. He looks like wearing a shirt in the last one, you know.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the other side to say, hey, why don't y'all use private servers instead? You know, I'm just waiting for. I don't know if it's been talked about. I've been kind of staying away from it all, but you know, the whole private server thing was a real big thing just a few years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's the other side.
Yep.
I've always laughed how no matter what side is blaming the other, it always comes back to the other side.
Always.
2 or 3 years later.
Yeah.
Remember when you did that?
Yeah.
You kicked a rock in my face. I remember it.
Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah. No, it is
Great
unfortunate.
pendulum swing. You know.
Always.
It's
Always
the
with
balancer.
politics.
Yeah. Problem today won't be tomorrow, but then will be again in about 8 years. So that's how it goes.
I will say on the sports one,
The torpedo.
I don't think no on the that one I don't know. I mean I've seen it, but on Luka leaving Dallas and going to I'm not even going to comment on how crazy I thought that was, just like everybody else. But you're going to have all these people saying, "See, they should have never let him go." And I'm like, "Yeah, but he always had the upper hand at Dallas. He was like living at large. He was about to get millions of dollars extra if he stayed. He did whatever he wanted because he knew he was the king."
Yeah.
I don't agree with him being traded, but now that he's been traded, I think it woke him up because, you know, this dude's like isn't he still in his 20s?
Yeah.
It woke him up.
24.
He's sitting there now with LeBron and in LA where he is not the most important person in the world. And they're like telling him, hey, you got to clean your crap up.
You can't be fat anymore.
Yeah. And so, in
short,
you're now going to see a different player. And I don't know if that would have still happened had he been in the luxury limelight that he was. In Dallas, he was like the big deal.
Oh, yeah.
In LA, you were not.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure, did he mention that he has no intention to play as long as LeBron and these other people? Like, he's very young.
2 years ago, he says, no way, I won't play. I think I'm going to retire by 34, 33.
By the time 33, 34 comes along, he might change his mind, but that is his mindset. But we just went to the finals. You know, he was due some money. And I don't think Mark Cuban just went on a podcast. It's kind of like a comedy podcast, the one that I watched. It's called Your Mom's House with a local comedian, Tom Segura, lives here in Austin. And he talked a lot about it. And after he sold and he came out, he was supposed to still kind of give advice, so to speak, like consulting. They didn't listen to anything he had to say. And he still has people coming up to him all the time, giving him hate for it. He's like, I had nothing to do with any of that. He's like, my daughter, the night the news dropped, she was at a party. And people were coming up to her, berating her, and she's having to call me, like, what's going on? He's like, I didn't even know. I got a text from Nico at, like, midnight that it was about to happen. So the whole thing, in my opinion, has been kind of mismanaged, but there's also some conspiratorial stuff out there about what is really the motive behind it all.
The Vegas thing.
About moving
Vegas
the team
move.
to Vegas, and fans at the games are calling for Nico to get fired every night.
Yeah.
Every night there's a game. So there's just a lot of angry people.
Yeah. But it was millions of dollars he was about to get.
Yeah.
And he was about to and LeBron is about to hit some number that's ridiculous. And he's already apparently talked about he might be taking a lower deal, renegotiating for a lower deal so that they can reinvest that money and build the team up.
Get another ring at least.
And that's
Tom Brady's move.
Right.
Same
That's
move.
the Tom Brady
Same move.
of
Same move.
Worked
You know?
in the
Same,
past,
Tim
so
Duncan.
Follow the formula.
Tim Duncan
Tim
did
Duncan
it,
with the Spurs.
and he got 3 extra rings.
Yep.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it in the 80s to get 3 more rings. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got a ring when he was 38, 40, and 41.
Yeah.
Let it sink.
Yeah.
How many? I think is the only player ever who got 3 rings after 38.
Well, not even in that same realm, like caliber of player, but KD's a great player. He didn't get a ring until he was with Golden State. You have a team of everybody around you.
There's only one champion a year.
All right.
I know it's obvious, but 31 teams will be frustrated. That's the thing, you know. Not 31 because Charlotte doesn't count. They never get frustrated, but at least 20 teams there are definitely frustrated, you know. And you mentioned Jokic. That's for sure. Man, this guy is. But in the same night, Curry had 52,
Yeah.
12, 60% FG, 5 steals, 8 assists, and 12 rebounds. Curry, 37 years old. Don't forget, we always keep speaking about, LeBron, but Curry has a real chance to get another ring.
Right.
Where would you put him if he gets another ring?
Oh, on Basketball Hall of Fame. I mean, he's definitely the Mount Rushmore of one of the best of all time.
I mean, have you? I've watched. I don't know how many YouTube. I've watched more YouTube videos of him shooting from all parts of the arena, even from the stands, than I've actually watched someone play basketball on any of the teams.
I see.
Like, it's
Pure entertainment.
yeah. I mean,
Gravitas.
he follows the same like Kobe. It's just practice, 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 and then more practice.
The one clip that always gets me is when he's dribbling kind of like in the paint and there's just like a dead bounce on the ball and he found a spot in the wood where it just wasn't maintained well and they had to fix part of the court.
Do you remember the name of the video?
I just remember I've seen it.
That could only happen 1 out of 14 million times. So he says, no. I would never ever miss this. Yeah. There must be something wrong about that. And actually, Hilton can talk about that
F1.
that 1 centimeter,
the barrier
that Senna hit the car because they move the guardrail.
Yeah, on F1 in Monaco, Senna said like he hit the wall. And he went back to the pits and then said, like, the wall moved because I would not hit. And then like, no way. So they actually, after the qualifying section or something like that, they went on. And then they went in there to see, and the wall did move. So the quality of some of the sportsmen, right, that if they say something because, it's experience that they have, you have to take account of, that in account because the court, I've seen that video multiple times also. It's like it's unbelievable.
It's just extreme levels of repetition.
Yeah.
And then he knows what to expect. And from us just watching it, your first reaction is there's no way that the court has a problem. There's no way the wall moved. But sometimes it's just what happens. It's rare, but it's like, wow. They find it in the moment. It's like, wow,
And just one more mention, because you sent me a video and I watched it. We had one of the most incredible last 2 minutes ever in the NBA this week.
Oh yeah, that was
Chicago was 18 points behind the Lakers, and
they came back to win.
And
that was incredible.
But how they won?
Yeah.
9 points in 12 seconds. And actually, LA scored, and they would win the game, and then Giddy scores from the other side of the court. Yeah. Are you kidding me? And LeBron, again, flopped in that lazy pass. I think Giddy knew that because he's done that many times. So he just tried to pass, like, floppy pass. Giddy was very fast. But they got the 3 shots, like, what are the odds, in 12 seconds under pressure? Well, it was, of course, me, anti-Lakers as I am. I couldn't be happier with that.
You love that, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And Lakers are going to take the Golden State in the playoffs. That's going to be I think it's going to be the best series, I think. Yeah, so.
It'll be interesting being they all just played with each other in the Olympics.
Right.
So
how about the Olympics?
Yeah.
They spend a lot of time, and you see it. They all are different after they come back from the Olympics every time.
Camaraderie, like just like
the friendship,
like 1992.
Yeah,
changed the NBA after that.
Well, the same thing. And when you're playing on a team, and then now that person is across from you, you better understand how they play and what they do, and so now you can use that against them. But they know what you do, and they know how your weaknesses are, and so. It always seems to be an interesting season after the guys all come back from the Olympics.
That's probably another thing that like separates the grades too. The ones that are there every 4 years at the Olympics and they get to play with the other guys that are up and coming, and then they're using that as an opportunity to learn and figure out little mental games that they can play when it's time to play against them. I think all of that's going to come into play coming into the playoffs here.
Yeah, and it's everyone loves Curry, which is he's amazing,
Right.
and people love to hate on Durant for whatever reason.
I love
But
Katie.
when you look at the Olympics, it was Durant that was almost always the one making sure they made it to the next round. And then when it came to crunch time, Curry was able to step up finally and just run with it. But
I remember when we watched those games. It
17 trees.
It was
Yeah.
electric.
17 trees in the final.
but that doesn't mean that, everyone keeps trying to say who's the best. And I'm like, why does it freaking matter? They're all great in their own ways. Durant,
Yeah.
Kobe, Curry, LeBron, they're
Yeah.
all great. We don't need to like constantly try to figure out which one's the best. Again, like I say in my book, everyone's got what's really good and know how to focus on that lane.
Yeah, we were watching the games. I was like, that Durant guy, it's so good. Every single game, Dylan and I watching it over here. It was like, that guy is too good.
His money.
Prime KD is he's a specimen. A guy that size, that's all. He shouldn't move around the way that he moves around, and it just changes the game. But I think that's the nature of competitiveness. They're always pinned up against each other. Who's the best? Who's number one? And then you tell somebody, oh, I think the GOAT is Jordan. I think is LeBron. Every single time they have a chip on their shoulder, like, no, it's me. I'm the best. So I think when you reach that level of, you have to have a little bit of like positive delusion that you're the best. I mean, that's what keeps you pushing forward. But there are just some guys that, obviously, when we look at it, it seems like it's not luck. It's the time that they put in and day out. You know? Hundreds of thousands of shots are taken throughout a year.
Jordan was great, but he wasn't fantastic till they brought Scotty to help. And
Well,
then,
that's the great debate.
and then
It's not a help, man.
And then,
He played 3 seasons.
That's when it all happened. And then, of course, what did they do next? They brought in a coach who built the triangle defense.
That's it.
The triangle offense with Jordan. And so Jordan would have just, I mean, you can only do so much, being Hercules. But it was because they brought in Pippen, and then they brought in their third guy with the coach. And between all of them, they built up, and Michael Jordan just skyrocketed from there.
Yeah,
and that's what you have to do. It's a team. So in basketball, is a team. It's not Tiger Woods playing golf. It's a team,
collective sport.
And people keep saying who's the best. It's not who's the best. It's who. Technically, the best was the coach who oriented the players around
11 rings.
Jordan
As a coach, 11 rings, 13 rings, 2 rings as a player.
Yeah,
11 rings as a coach.
he was.
That's been incredible.
That competition,
Jordan,
but that being like the best, the great, or whatever it is the competition within the competition, which actually makes them really wanting to practice, and that's why NBA and the American basketball is the best in the world, because this is like the true meaning of the competition within the competitions. Like, hey, how can I be better than not only myself but than everybody else?
Yeah.
And everybody wants to do that, and therefore everything is lifted up, and you get a great show, because it's not really a game. It sometimes is a show.
That's why you can't lose 6 finals.
right.
You can't lose 6 finals, especially when you're favored. You're favored in 2 of them for sure. At least 2 are truly favored to win.
But even look at the Olympics.
Just kidding.
You have
look
all
who they
these
lost to.
all these teams catching up to USA, but are they really? The USA players play for what, 6
Baby
weeks together,
dolls?
and all the European teams play like for years together, and so they've got all this experience playing as a unit. And USA is still winning, and they only get 6 weeks, I think, to practice together as a team. I mean, that's nothing. So
That individual, shining that they have to get on themselves, makes that happen.
right.
Check how good Jokic is in the semifinals against the US. While he was in the court, they won by 1 point.
Yeah, I remember that. It was hard keeping up with it. They were leading the game for a little bit.
Yeah, so while he was in the court, he his team led. He was only positive. The other guys are -10, -8.
God.
This is how good. If
But
you are,
he's the best in the world right now.
Yes.
I mean, just give whenever one other player from Denver plays well, they are contenders. If Murray plays well, if Porter Jr. plays well, if Aaron Gordon plays well, Brown, if the other day he scored 39 points. So when another player does the minimum, they win.
I don't think it'll ever be an American anymore because we push for you to be more all around.
Yes.
In all these countries, they start them young, and that's all they do. Most of them don't even go to college. They just focus on playing, and they build whole teams around them in their younger years. So they have way more years. What's his name? That just with Spurs,
Wembayama.
Yeah,
Wemby.
I mean, he's been playing on as a pseudo amateur or professional. Literally, if he is all those years you tack up that he was amateur, he would have been a professional here. So he's got years of experience.
Same with Luka. Same with Luka because
that's what I'm saying.
Luka was champion when he was 15 with Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But I think he's very content to stop at 34 because of that reason.
Right.
Yes.
Because he started way earlier.
Yeah.
If that's the Steve Jobs thing. If you practice something that much, that's what's going to happen.
And some players are born to be playing for teams like this. Real Madrid, I just hate them for everything they do,
George is a real hater.
Yeah,
I don't know if
hater.
you've noticed.
For
He hates everything.
Yeah, that's how we talk about American football too. You guys say the same thing, so I'm more passionate about other sports.
I was rooting for LA Dodgers. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of them, but I was rooting for them.
Yeah. You don't have to come back to this podcast.
Nobody's perfect. You see, man. Dude, play the room, man. No, just kidding.
That's read the room. That's read the room.
Exactly.
Like, man, this is a different video. So Dagan here is a published author, and he has the Play the Room, which is a networking book. So,
if you like making money, I suggest you stop reading whatever book you're reading now and read that. It'll help you skip all the trials and tribulations that you're going through now.
This
book helped me a lot. Yeah, thank you. I told you that many times. So yeah.
Yeah, there's several people that I've helped in the last year that I think by the end of this year they might actually be making more money than me because I skipped them ahead of all the things I've been even doing in my own business, and I was able to pour Red Bull fire and all kinds of stuff and just propel them. And so, people like you that are following, y'all are just skyrocketing. And I bet y'all might all pass me because I didn't have someone to do that. So I was doing it on my own. And while I've been doing well, by me giving you all that info, it's just throwing you even faster. And I'm almost getting envious of some of my clients or people I've been helping.
Well, it depends on the industry you're at. You know?
Well, the rising tide, it raises all ships. So as we grow and everybody, you're coming right along with us. So you're fishing in our pond. We've got lots of people that we can connect you with.
And listen,
vice versa.
And you can, but if everything goes wrong, you can make money as a matchmaker, a detective.
That's right.
A stand-up comedian. So you are good, man. You're good.
I was gonna ask you that earlier. It's like all these skills. If it were me in that position, I'm like, hey, you go over there and you talk to her, and it goes well. $20, and trust me,
you're shooting low. It needs to be like 100 or 200.
No, trust me, it's gonna be $20 every time.
Yeah.
Because you have a skill there. You know what I mean? No, it's your friends. You don't want to rip them off. Like $20.
Yeah.
Watch the podcast and listen to the stories that Dagan shared over here. So go to the channel, to the main channel feed over the channel, and look for the podcast that Dagan is on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in on Conrad's news segment. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great week. Don't forget to like,
subscribe,
and comment
and share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.